Hello, I'm Dr. Jeremy Ellis with Ellis Mobile Chiropractic, your no waiting room practice. I want to say a few words about stress today. It's something that affects everyone, rather it's just sitting in the back of your head eating up mental bandwidth, or rather it consumes your every waking thought. It keeps you awake at night, leaves you short-tempered, and even affects relationships with friends and family. You can feel it when it's present, and even though your body will eventually show measurable signs of its presence, most of us don't really know exactly what it actually is. You may have heard the term fight or flight. It's your body's response to an emergency. Imagine a caveman out for a hunt. All of a sudden, a saber-toothed tiger jumps out in front of him looking for his own tasty meal. The caveman's heart immediately starts to pump faster. His blood pressure skyrockets. Blood is forced away from his vital organs and directed to his muscles to make him stronger and be able to run faster. His breathing is increased to provide more oxygen. His pupils dilate so he can see more sharply. His brain even accentuates signals coming from his ears so he can hear better. He has to make a real quick decision. Does he fight the tiger for his life or does he run away? Doesn't really much matter which he chooses. His body is prepared to give him the best physical advantage it can. But what controls this response and its coordination? You guessed it, it's the nervous system. Specifically a division called the sympathetic nervous system. And it's literally a lifesaver. Of course, once the caveman vanquishes the tiger and now has dinner to bring home to his cave family, the sympathetic nervous system is supposed to shut down and re-engage the read and relax system that comes from the parasympathetic nervous system, which you might have guessed is responsible for relaxation, digestion of food, normal metabolic operations, and of course, thinking deep thoughts. Now, most people exist in a state of sympathetic dominance. That means that the fight or flight response is active most of the time, and very rarely, if ever, entirely shuts off. Living in this constant state of emergency puts an extreme strain on the body by overworking some systems and underutilizing others. Heart disease, high blood pressure, anxiety, persistent irritability, insomnia, brain fog can all result from chronically overactive sympathetic system. Have you ever seen anyone have a panic attack? Or had one yourself? It is the full activation of the sympathetic nervous system at an inappropriate time. Instead, we want to be parasympathetic dominant. Ideally, you'll want to spend the vast majority of your time with mental clarity, normalized blood pressure. You're going to want to be able to properly and fully digest your meals, and of course be able to eliminate the waste timely. In this state, you can be calm and relate to your friends and family with greater ease. The most straightforward explanation for why this is that our brains can't distinguish between a physical or an emotional crisis. When stress increases because of relationship problems, personal finance, work issues, or 1,000 other reasons, and we don't have appropriate coping mechanisms to deal with them, the brain senses an emergency and engages the fight or flight response. Unfortunately, in today's society, emotional stresses seem to be ever present. So, instead of a saber-toothed tiger, it's everyday life. And instead of a temporary response, it's all the time. Chiropractic adjustments don't just work locally on the structures of the spine, but they have a feedback effect on the brain itself. In fact, on functional MRI, a simple ankle adjustment sends messages to the brain that light it up and literally kickstart it into a different gear. Adjusting the spine feeds the brain with new information about the body's actual present danger and resets it. Chiropractic adjustments are vital to breaking this negative cycle. The way chiropractic adjustments care for the body and help it to become its best in physical performance, keep it healthy, and keep it sane is nothing less than astonishing. A far cry from the low back pain that brings many to a chiropractor to begin with. Let's do away with the silly notion that chiropractic is only about neck and low back pain and recognize that it's an essential component of a lifestyle for establishing and advancing your health.